joined by a longtime friend, a former voice of the Tulsa Oilers, now the voice of the Kalamazoo Wings. Very proud to attend his wedding 2 summers ago. Although I was thinking to myself before we started doing this Zoomcast, John, that was last year. No, it wasn't. That's how quickly time flies by. Happy almost 2 years of being a groom.
Thank you very much. It's you're right. Time flies. It does feel like last summer, and I think it's because all of us maybe subconsciously are trying to block out whatever 2020 was. So
yeah,
maybe that's why it feels like yesterday.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a bizarre year for all of us, but more so for you because you're not calling hockey. What a thing that you love to do, your passion, your life. Obviously, besides your beautiful wife and your family time, you're a hockey play-by-play guy. So what have you been doing this year to entertain yourself and keep yourself going in a year where you're not doing your number one love?
It's a great question. I've done a lot of brainstorming ways to find that happiness and to keep that passion ignited without calling hockey games. And as you said, it's something that we live for. We're very fortunate to do something we love to do. I think that's one thing that's echoed across broadcasting circles is, there are a lot of jobs out there that quite frankly are crummy jobs that none of us would sign up for. And this is one that doesn't really feel like a job or a career. It feels like a passion or a hobby. We show up to the rink and call hockey games and we absolutely love what we do. So to have that void is difficult to fill. I think for us, we've been able to keep involved in our community here in Kalamazoo with different content pieces and funny videos and try to find some humor in an otherwise dark year. I think 2020 was obviously rough for a lot of people with the pandemic. We've tried to find ways to not only make light of situations we can make light of, whether it be the hockey void or some of our guests we've had on our podcast. That's been fun to catch up with a lot of players and coaches and alumni, but also some community initiatives too, and to honor the frontline workers. And I know we're brainstorming ahead now to the 21-22 season on ways that we can jump back into the swing of things and show our appreciation for those people that were on the front lines during a really tough year for a lot of people.
I was reading your press release the other day that you sent out about the announcement of the home opener. And I know that had to be very exciting for Wings fans, for yourself, Tony, Bootland, the entire organization, you guys. And I read the quotes in there from both Tony and Coach Bootland about the excitement of just getting back to playing hockey again. That's what you guys do. You're an organization and a great one indeed. Got a terrific old barn, one of my favorite places to visit, around the ECHL. It had to be pretty exciting writing that press release for you, John, and just talking about hockey again.
Yeah, I miss writing those press releases. I never thought I would say that, but going so long without writing press releases, the occasional time where we have some newsworthy information to pass along to our media partners and our fans is rewarding to be able to do that again. And for that one specifically, it's another, I think Tony said it perfectly, it's another positive step towards getting back on the ice again for us. Obviously, we were one of the 12 teams that chose to opt out of this season. We've been pretty transparent and clear with our fan base that the biggest reason is the safety of our fans and our staff and our players. Purely, that was the main driving force with us opting out kind of in the 11th hour when it was time to make a decision. It wasn't anything financial. We're in a pretty good position here in Kalamazoo. We're very fortunate to have the owners that we do. And so for us to have that step in the right direction, not only to have a season now to plan for, but an actual date, a physical home date to get excited about. That was really cool to write that press release. And sometimes, in PR, when we ask for quotes from our GM or our coach, we might have to coach them along, if you will, guide them along how we want the statement to sound without being inauthentic. This time I left it as is. I said, you know what, that excitement you're showing, Nick Bootland, our head coach, it's exactly what we're feeling and what our fans, I think, are feeling. For him to say in his 13 years in Kalamazoo that this is the most excited he's ever been for a home opener, that tells you how much he's itching to get back behind the bench.
I'm admiring that jersey behind you. If you're a big fan of USA Hockey, you know who that is right there. And I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Craig, and I call him Mr. Craig because he's a true hockey legend. Can you tell us about that big purchase?
Yeah, it was actually in Vegas during one of our ECHL league meetings, which is another thing that, I personally am looking forward to when it's safe for us all to get together again in Las Vegas for our annual ECHL summer meetings. I had some free time after one of the events to walk down to the Field of Dreams shop on the Strip. And I saw that jersey and then this other one behind me that's hidden, which is Harrison Smith of my Minnesota Vikings. And I've never been one to really make big purchases like that. I'm a pretty frugal person. So I did my negotiating. I put on my sales pants a little bit, and I got those guys to give me a nice deal on the USA Hockey Jim Craig autographed jersey and the Harrison Smith Minnesota Vikings autographed jersey. So I was pretty happy with those purchases. Now I just need to get them framed and get the man cave started.
Speaking of the Vikings, again, thank you for Stefan Diggs. Much appreciated. I know you're rooting for my Bills, and I appreciate that too, PD, a lot. I think it worked out pretty good for both teams. You got a pretty good young wide receiver there from LSU, and worked out pretty well for Buffalo as well.
Yeah, you know what? I was bummed the way the season ended for you guys. If there's anybody that can understand the pain Vikings fans have gone through in our lives, it's Buffalo Bills fans, and maybe them then some. So I sympathize with what you guys go through as a fan base, making it to 4 straight Super Bowls. The Vikings have made it to 4 Super Bowls ever and lost all 4 of them also. So we have something in common, and it's not a good thing, but we can sympathize with each other's football pain. I think you guys are in a good position, though, to make a run up there in Buffalo in the near future with that quarterback, Josh Allen. So hopefully the Vikings rebuild is a short one and we can get back to competing again. But it's always fun to keep eyes on each other's teams, because one of us is going to break that curse. I'm telling you, somebody's going to win a Super Bowl someday, and I have a feeling it's the Buffalo Bills, maybe, since I'm a pessimistic Vikings fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that ever does happen, I've made some pretty wild, some might say outlandish predictions and things that, I said I would do if the Bills or Sabres ever won a championship. I'll keep those close to the vest until it does happen, because I don't want to jinx anything. But yeah, I can understand along with you. Vikings, great organization, and you go back way before your time. And you think about Fran Tarkington and Purple People Eaters, man. That was an organization that was well respected around the league, and it's coming around for them. They will. It always does. And I'm a firm believer, if you're an organization that wants to build and has a great fan base, eventually good things will happen for all. Kansas City people, everybody, talking about the Chiefs right now, and hey, they went through some really, really tough times. There were some dark days in Kansas City for a long time, and you make that right draft pick, and you take the kid from Texas Tech, Mahomes, and all of a sudden your whole world changes. And I think that's for a Buffalo guy. I remember, John, winning the first championship, first of 4 here. I remember saying this on stage at the ECHL league meetings, and it actually drew a chuckle from the crowd. I said, who would have thought that a kid from Buffalo could win anything? Because, I mean, you name it, every joke out there, there's a million of them. You know what Bill stands for? Boy, I love losing on Sunday, or wide right, or foot in the crease. I mean, there's a million of them out there that I've lived and breathed. But hey, minor league hockey's been good to both of us. You got a great start there in Tulsa, and obviously have blossomed into a great broadcaster, and now calling Kalamazoo home. Speaking of broadcasters, Doc Emmerich retired after last season, and I know if you're a fan of American hockey, we all have a favorite Doc Emmerich moment. Can you tell me, just growing up, who was your hero, and how much was Doc Emmerich a part of you wanting to be a hockey play-by-play guy?
Oh, he was pivotal. What really generated my original interest in hockey, not having a team before the Wild came into Minnesota after the North Stars left, was really in my age range, where I didn't have a team to root for. And in order for me to fall in love with the game of hockey, I mean, Minnesota, it's pretty self-explanatory. You usually are interested in hockey at the very least up there. It's in our blood as Minnesotans. But to have that passion for hockey, I think it was just turning on ESPN, which is ironic because they just announced they signed another partnership with the NHL. But at the time, watching Gary Thorne, he was an idol. Watching him call Stanley Cup playoffs games. Again, I had no rooting interest. I just wanted to watch sports, and he was a very easy play-by-play guy to follow and very exciting voice. Watching some of those old Red Wings teams when they were good in the mid to late 90s, that kind of sparked my interest. And then when I got to college and went to journalism school at Arizona State at the Walter Cronkite School, I didn't know if I wanted to go into broadcasting or print or PR. I didn't know what sport I wanted to focus on. And what brought me back to hockey was Doc Emrick. So Doc is the best there ever was. He'll probably be the best there ever is in hockey. He's the gold standard, right? He's the high bar that a lot of people, I don't necessarily want to say strive to be, but emulate the success that he had in his career, not only as a broadcaster, but as a person. And I was fortunate to meet him 4 days before our season got canceled. And the end of the 1920 season, he was in Fort Wayne for their Hall of Fame ceremony, and we happened to be playing there. And the Comets staff was gracious enough to bring him up to the press box, and he put on a headset and helped me call the third period. Thrill of my career, Tommy, I'm telling you, to have the best hockey voice there ever was on the broadcast with me. It was tough to focus on my task at hand, calling K-Wings play-by-play, having the GOAT color commentary to my right. So, you know what? He deserved retirement. I think he picked a good time to go out in such a weird, strange pandemic season. It's a little bit weird watching hockey games with him not on the broadcast anymore. But again, he's an idol, and he's one that will go down in the history books as maybe the best ever.
It's a great special too. I'm sure you probably saw the Doc Emrick special, the weekend of the outdoor game, in Reno Tahoe, and that was, to me, that was just like, wow. I mean, I knew he was great, and obviously I've always admired his work, but to realize all that he had done and to hear all the greats like Crosby and Gretzky and the best players of the game talk about how, it was a thrill for them to listen to meet Doc Emrick. That just goes to show you. And the one thing you got to love about him, John, is he never forgot his roots. A lot of people, they move on, they get that job in the NHL and they forget about their days, in minor league hockey, but he did not. And he still, talks about the Fort Wayne Comets. And the one thing you got to love about Doc Emrick is, every year when the playoffs were going on, he was the only hockey play-by-play guy that would always recognize how the American Hockey League playoffs were going, how the ECHL playoffs were going. And I remember when Steve Martinson reached that big milestone win, of course, the winningest U.S.-born hockey coach, born in Minnesota, of all time, Doc Emrick. I reached out to Doc and said, hey, would you mind recording a little congratulatory message for Steve Martinson? And he said, absolutely. And the cool thing about this, John, he recorded this message from the outdoor game. He was just so happened, the timing was perfect. And I'm telling you, even listening to that, he wasn't talking about me, but man, I got chills when I was listening to Doc Emrick talk about Steve Martinson and the coach that he is. And obviously will always be recognized as one of the greatest U.S. born hockey coaches of all time. Last but not least, we talked about your great wedding a couple of years ago, and I feel honored to have been one of the few to be there. Mark Benetti, Rapid City, Jason Malz with the Wichita Thunder, and how much fun that was. Getting to go to a Minnesota Twins game, getting to spend your bachelor party night with you out and about, having fun, on you and Carrie's big weekend. So, again, thanks, man, for including me in on that. You'll always be a great friend. And I have no doubt that, bigger and better things are, ahead for you. Kalamazoo, enjoy this kid while you got him, because he won't be here long. That's a promise. And, proud to call you my friend, man.
It means a lot, Tommy. And, for you guys to be able to come from all over to be a part of that weekend was pretty special. I know it's not easy to drop everything and travel across the country, to be a part of something like that. That meant a lot. And, we've got some great peers and friends in this business. But you guys obviously mean the world to me. And, that was a memorable weekend, and it's one we look back on from time to time. And there's little things that pop up that there was so much that weekend that we were able to accomplish, aside from just wedding day, which flew by. I mean, for anybody that's been married before, you don't even remember your wedding day hardly, because it's here and gone. But some of the memories leading up to it, like hanging out with you guys the night before, that was pretty cool. So it means a lot. And, you don't get anywhere in this business if you don't make genuine, real friendships and relationships, whether it be with other broadcasters or front office people or coaches, like your relationship with Coach Martinson. I have a relationship with Coach Bootland and our staff here in Kalamazoo that I cherish. My relationship with Tulsa's coaches when I was there, Rob Murray and Zach Desjardins and those guys, I'll carry those with me everywhere I go. And I'm very fortunate to be here, and I'll be here as long as I can. And these fans have treated me very well in Kalamazoo. The staff, the front office has been very, very good to me. So I'm fortunate. And sometimes, especially during tough times, to look at things that are positive in your life, and things that you cherish, your friendships, your relationships, your situation at work or whatever it may be, that carries you through some of those tough times. And we've all had some tough times this past year with the pandemic and what have you. But I'm looking ahead to what's to come, and those friendships, like with you and Mark and Jason and, Everett in Seattle and David Fine and Reading, and the list goes on. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but we've got a lot of good friends in this business. It helps that countdown go a little faster for October 23rd, 2021.
Well, it'll be here before you know it. Stay safe. I know you are in will. Give my best to your beautiful bride, 2 years in. And the best things are still to come. Just remember, there's fans out there that, listen to you call games, and they talk about you and maybe something that you said during a game. They look at you like Doc Emmerich. You're their guy. When they want to hear Wings games, there's one guy that they want to hear, and that's John Peterson. So, as one wise man once told me, enjoy your job today, because you're not guaranteed of tomorrow. So, have fun out there, and I'm sure we'll see you sooner than later. Hopefully, in Vegas sometime soon.
Yes, sir. Congratulations again on the year you guys are having. Best of luck. I hope you guys can make a run into the playoffs when it comes around. Thanks, Tommy.
All right. The great John Peterson, voice of the formerly Tulsa Oilers, now the voice of the Kalamazoo Wings, and of course, a hockey play-by-play guy, and one of the best in the business. John, be safe. We'll talk to you soon.